You're listening to S2E20 FM. You know what time it is. It is 6 minutes past 9 on the Breakfast Express. Thank you to Atif Aslam. Tucha here, playing in the background. And it is the 8th of July. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Code Zaid.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Lekker cold weather, eh?
Lekker cold weather. I don't know about the lekker. I can agree with the cold. I can definitely agree with the cold, man.
Hey, saying it's lekker is my affirmation.
Yes. Affirmations. Good way to start.
I'm trying to
the day.
convince myself that I like it.
That's reverse psychology right there
Yeah.
in the making. Yes, Coach Zaid, we've got a very, very nice topic for today. I'm looking forward to it. We're asking, where are the elders?
Yeah, it's a very unpopular topic because it raises a lot of very uncomfortable questions about where are the elders. And I think we need to even struggle these days to identify who the elders are.
Yeah.
Because, everyone's aging so gracefully these days. You don't notice that they're getting older, apparently.
And that is the thing, right? When you sent me this question, this topic, where are the elders? That was the first thing that came to my mind. Who are the elders now?
One thing that I find quite interesting is that no one really told us when we were going to become the elders. And because of that, and because the elders, for the most part these days, are sidelined in the bigger decisions and strategies and understandings of life, there's no one that's waiting to be told, okay, now it's your turn to pick up the mantle. It's your turn to run with the baton, right? Or the baton, however people want to pronounce it. But the point is that there's no one that's actually handing it over to the next generation. And because there's nothing that gives us this kind of formality about it, and there's so little respect for custom and tradition these days, except where it comes to token occasions and token gestures, we're losing a hell of a lot of generational wisdom because the ones who have it are kind of put up on a shelf as a figurehead at family occasions without any meaningful input into anything.
So where is the generational wisdom coming from now? If not from the elders, where? Where are young people seeking guidance and wisdom?
You're provoking the cynic in me because the immediate response I've got to that is what generational wisdom? How many people are going through life trying to figure it out for themselves because they don't want to learn from anyone else?
Yeah.
And that's the problem, right? And the reason they don't want to learn from anyone else is not just because they're ridiculous or obstinate or arrogant about it. It's because the ones who should have established themselves as elders in their lives didn't. So where do you find the balance between the ones who should be taking advice about, hey, this is how life works, versus the ones who are not stepping up to say, hey, listen, this is how life works? Because there seems to be a major disconnect in that. Everyone's trying to be cool. Everyone's trying to be TikTok stars, even the elderly these days. And I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm saying, where's the balance? If you're going to do that, who's taking care of the other stuff you should be taking care of?
What should elders be taking care of?
How about family cohesion, community cohesion, understanding, inspiration, leadership, guidance, wisdom about what might look like a good idea now is actually not a good idea?
What is that costing us? If elders do not take the baton, the mantle, take their place, rightful place, as we call it in society, what does that cost the actual society?
You've got an entire generation, if not 2 or 3 generations, that are going to have to learn the hard way all the lessons that have been learned for generations before. So it's an expensive mistake. It's an expensive gap that we're creating, right? Because you're literally going to have an entire generation or 2 at least that are going to have to figure out why it is that the way the old people did something was actually, there was merit to it. It wasn't just a nice custom or tradition.
It wasn't done for show. I mean, when people were going to get married, for example, there was the auntie network. Samosa runs, I think they call it, right?
Yeah.
It's right now, it's not so common, I feel. It's something that's happening, on the down low. Meanwhile, that used to be, you would consult. People would
Yes.
consult each other. Who knew the family. What, like, that was it. Consulting the elders with big life decisions and
Mm-hmm.
little life decisions. The fact that people never stayed so far from each other.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much to be learned, so much to be passed down. There was also a lot of misunderstanding, I think.
Yes.
There was a lot of arguments. There was a lot of, like, but that came with the joy of the community. Do you think we have that still? Do we still have that community, or is the wall too high?
I think the wall's too high. I think the community, the sense of community that we have, is what we still enjoy as remnants of the efforts of the previous generations. And if I'm wrong about this, I'm not being cynical or arrogant. I want someone to like message in and tell me you're wrong because of this reason. But here's the thing, right? If we had elders playing a meaningful role in society as the heads, as the leaders, as the sages that's supposed to be teaching us about why it is that certain things are important, and establishing balance and guiding us to how to establish balance, then we wouldn't have majority of the problems we're having these days, right? Because it's the absence of leadership, which in turn is the absence of elders, that causes us to make so many avoidable mistakes. And then that creates a like massive problems of its own, because the ones who made the mistake that look back and they realize, like, I wouldn't have made that mistake if so and so was there to guide me or to advise me, or if they spoke up, then that creates a bitterness. And that bitterness creates even more detachment from the way that generation used to do things. So now we definitely don't want to be like them. We want to do it differently. And then we come up with this liberal ideologies that seep in to say that we're going to be better and we're going to do it different and we're going to figure it out ourselves and we're not going to make the same mistakes and all of that nonsense. And we make just new mistakes.
New mistakes, exactly. So is it that elders are not stepping up, or is it that they're not being consulted? They don't feel relevant and important enough anymore. Their opinions are just not taken anymore.
I think it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, but at the same time, also, I would, my criticism would be directed more at the elders for having become irrelevant because they were so focused on just being elders and being respected because they were older. They lost touch with what the changing landscape was of reality that the next generations were dealing with. So now the advice they give, they can't bring it into context. They can't help them to understand why it is that a TikTok trend is not good for you. Because the only thing they can talk about is whether it's good or bad. They can't tell them why. And they can't tell them why family time is important, because it's about the token gestures and the token occasions of family must get together. But what's the quality of the gathering? What are you establishing in that process? Are you building unity? Are you building understanding? Are you building any affection? Or is it just another extension of your social activities?
And I think a lot of relationships have been lost in the name of respect.
Or at least the perception of respect or disrespect, right?
Yeah.
I think for the most part, we've actually lost the understanding of what respect looks like,
Yeah.
right? I think there's more focus and emphasis on how to be polite, how to be well mannered, how to have decorum, to know how to conduct yourself in different situations. But respect itself, I don't think there's many people that actually appreciate or understand the true meaning of what respect looks like. Because if you look at how it is that we want to enable and empower the younger generations to have a voice and all of that, they do it to the exclusion of respect for the elders, to the exclusion for respect for generational wisdom, right? And when I say that, I mean that we have young people who think that they are the equals of the elders, and that's why they must have the same voice at the same table, the same opportunity to air their opinions. They're not looking to like share what they think and be corrected or informed about whether it's they in the right direction or not. They think that because they have an opinion, their opinion should matter. The idea of credibility and everything else is just completely lost on us these days.
And I just want to touch on something that you mentioned now, is that their opinion should matter without being corrected.
Yes, they don't want to have someone challenge their opinion because it's my opinion. I have a right to my opinion. No, you have a right to an informed opinion, not just any opinion. And the same for the elders, right? I'm not taking a dig at Gen Z or Gen Alpha or any of the other generations. I'm saying the same for the elders, same for the young ones, same for the transitional kind of generation, the parents who are currently there, and that we just so fixated on how people need to have a voice and need to be heard and need to feel seen and all of that, but we don't look at how do we get them to appreciate whether they have credibility or not. And you know where they're going to learn whether they have credibility or not? Out in the big wide world where no one cares about the fact that you deserve a voice. And that's how we're setting them up for failure.
And this is a failure that's going to fail generations to come.
It's failing us right now. Look at our society, look at our community. What used to be considered to be like Western problems in that is now endemic. It's part of the societal fabric in our community.
You know, it's making me think. Growing up, there was always a group of respected elders.
Yeah.
That if there was a problem in a home, that they would be called to mediate. We call it mashura, right? Where they come together and they talk. Literally, it's a conversation, and it's for the best possible outcome to protect the family unit.
There's the rub. There's the key. How many people engage and mediate and consult these days because they want to reach understanding versus they want to be right?
Yeah.
They want to be heard. They want to have their position respected and enforced and appreciated. Like I said, respect. We've lost the plot. We don't understand what respect even looks like.
It's a very, very, I think that it is something that is a long time coming to be discussed, to be given a platform, to be aired, because our elders have gone quieter.
Our elders have gone quieter. In some cases, it's understandable because they've been almost literally and deliberately shut down by the younger generations, by their own children who are now adults, who are the ones going to take over the next leadership role as elders, that they don't even realize they're doing that. But here's the thing about it, right? You know, I always say that it doesn't matter what you think about the role you're playing. The fact that you fill that role means you have impact. Whether you want to or you don't want to take it on, doesn't matter. The fact that you exist in that role as an elder, the fact that you exist in that role as an aunt, as an uncle, as a mother, as a father, means that you have impact and you're showing an example of what that role represents and how it should be fulfilled. So when you have this absence of understanding and this negligence of accountability towards the role you're playing, that's what you are teaching the next generation, that this is what anyone can expect from you, and this is what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, it's amazing. I attended a function recently, and there were two tables. One of the youngsters, who gathered together, the teenies and tweenies, and then you've got the older people, and the elders, as we call them. At the table with the youngsters was absolutely quiet. Everyone was on their phones. And all the noise was coming from the table where the elders were sitting. And at one point, one of them turned around and looked at the table where the youngsters were, and they were like, that is exactly what is wrong. You people are together but not communicating. But you're happy to be on a WhatsApp group at the same table talking. Do you find that normal? I don't think that's normal. And he proceeded to take everybody's phones off the table. And he was like, we are actually going to communicate. Look at each other. Look at each other. Should I reintroduce you? And these kids were so annoyed. But by the end, there were board games coming out. There was they had genuine fun. And they actually didn't look for their phones. But that generational gap was right there in front of me. And I was like, wow, this is exactly how big the gap has become.
How many parents of children that were sitting in there with their cell phones in that would allow an elder to actually correct their child?
Yeah.
There's your problem.
Yeah.
Parents are so insecure about their role as parents that they need to establish their authority and emphasize their position every chance they get. And that's because it's not just their insecurity as a parent, it's their insecurity as a person. So because you're insecure in your own right about who you are, you will look for opportunity to establish your voice and your significance through the roles that you play. So then by extension, because I'm the parent, you will not tell me how to raise my child.
Yes.
Right, great stuff. Look around us. How well is it working out? While we were talking earlier about the samosa run, I was thinking also about how it is that there's almost this like very vocal kind of pride in saying, "Oh no, we had a love marriage. We weren't arranged marriage." No, you know. And it's not about whether the one is better than the other or not. It's just that this change in trends about how it is that we have that mashura, that consultation, and that collective kind of engagement to understand who's going to be a good partner for whom and all of that. In the absence of that, what's our divorce rates looking like?
Sure.
What's our amount of infidelity looking like? What's the amount of abandoned children looking like? And when I say abandoned children, I'm talking of children who are neglected while they live in a two-parent home. Because that's the result of our better way of doing things. We're drinking our own Kool-Aid.
I hope that this is striking a chord with many of our listeners, because you can see what's happening every single day. Our young people are they've lost the plot.
They don't have good examples to follow. And when I say they don't have good examples to follow, is because they don't have meaningful, active engagement about life with them, right? So the village, the majority of the village that is directly focused on needing to be cool and be friends and be part of the social space, that's what they're looking at. So automatically they think we're equals in that space. Because if you're on TikTok and I'm on TikTok and I've got more followers and more reactions than you, then that means I've got more credibility than you, so you don't tell me what to do. It's ridiculous. We've lost the plot. We don't know what respect or credibility looks like.
And also there were certain things that we were also thought about, by only at a certain age can you do this, only at a certain time you can do that. And when we would ask, like makeup for example, we were told you don't need to wear makeup right now. And we were like 12, 13 years old, and our aunts would be like, no, when you're 16 or when you're 17 we can start doing that. And we would always wonder why, versus the average 12-year-old right now is doing makeup tutorials and can do winged eyeliner better than most 20-something. You sitting there going, my goodness. At that age, we were told, and it's amazing, our aunts would say, no, you're perfect the way you are. You don't have to put makeup on. And that was the reason they would always drive. They'd say, no, you don't need it. You don't need it. And when we did put it on, we felt uncomfortable because we were like, why now, but the fact is that we had elders guiding us, not just doing it but saying why we're doing it. And now if you look at it, the kids are exposed to so much more on the internet. They no longer go to their gran and ask what was life like for you. They like Google life in the 1980s.
Chat GPT. No, Chat GPT said my mother is wrong, my father is wrong, so that means they must be backward. They don't understand how things work these days. ChatGPT and the reliance people place on that for life advice is actually scary.
Yes, definitely. And how does that replace, there was the wisdom of the wild oak tree or the old oak tree kind of a concept. And we think, how much of fairy tale stories we were told by our grandparents, at the foot of our grandparents, sitting there like, can you tell us the story of when you were growing up again? What did you do? Can you tell us the stories we grew up listening to? Adaptations of certain stories of history from our grandparents who had experienced it, actually. So Youth Day just came, for example. And apart from it being a public, you ask young people, what is Youth Day? Like, it's a public holiday. You ask them, do you know the history? Why do we celebrate?
They'll give you the highlights or the bullet points. That's it.
There's no understanding or connection. And we had people who were involved in that 1976 uprising come and talk to us when we were students in school and show us their scars from how running from the police they were shot, and and we connected in that way, like, wow,
it was still real to you, right? It wasn't
real.
Some fable in a textbook that you had to learn so that you could pass your grade. And that's what we've pretty much done with life these days. Everything has become token, right? You got to do this to earn some credits. You got to do that to earn some privilege. So the focus is on getting the privilege, not on the value of what you have to do. So this reward, punishment, consequence management kind of approach, which has taken an ugly turn of its own, because now reward and punishment looks very different to something that is actually reward and punishment. And I'm not talking of corporal punishment. I'm talking of like just consequences of having to deal with the reality of the impact of what you've done, rather than just, oh no, you need to show me that you have some remorse for it. So go and like sit in your room without any technology for a day, and then we're good. Where's the wisdom being imparted? Where's the understanding and the effort being made to get the child, or to get even the adult these days, to understand that what they did has impact, not just it was right or wrong.
Yeah.
What was the impact, and how do you feel about having had that impact? Is that who you want to be? We don't have elders that talk about those things these days.
My question is why? Why don't we have those elders who are talking about it these days? Because we don't have a shortage of elders.
I think it's a combination of two things. The one is one of the concepts and one of the kind of statements that I absolutely despise in our community. And that is where elders say, I don't want to become mortgage. I don't want to become a burden. Okay, is that the focus of your life? You raise your children so that you're not going to be a burden to them. So if you don't want to be a burden to them, then who's fulfilling the role of the elder while you minding your own business?
Do you think there's a fixation on, as I get older, I'm going to become a burden?
Well, the point is why. The bigger problem is, why is it that you perceive codependence as burdensome? Why is it that you see your presence in someone else's life as a burden to them, and why is it that they give you reason to believe that you're a burden?
I think that's the true question
Right.
there. Are you being given a reason?
And that's the second part of what I was saying. Is like the one is the elders who want to withdraw and say, no, I'm not going to be a burden to you. I don't want to be dependent on you. People, you must live your life now because I had my turn. That's absolute nonsense. The other side of it is the children who believe that is actually it has merit, that is true. Like, you had your life, now leave us live our life. I have my rights and you had to fulfill your duty, and now you've done that, and now it's our turn. We've got our family, and it's not that we don't care for you, but like, we have our own lives these days. Yeah, way to go being self-indulgent like that, and you're teaching your children exactly how it is that they must be self-indulgent, and those chickens are going to come home to roost.
Yeah.
And then people are going to have depression, anxiety, and all sorts of so-called mental illnesses because of empty nest syndrome and all of that.
That's what I'm thinking as well, is that, like, then you be prepared for a very lonely old age as well, where you've got limited interaction with your grandchildren, for example, or that, you're going to be very lonely.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do some volunteer work at an old age home. And we had situations where I was shocked because there was a cultural divide, right? We had a particular race where they wouldn't have seen their parents due to Alzheimer's for years. And all was done was a monthly debit order goes off. And do they have everything they need? Thank you very much. They wait for the phone call to say, your mom's not doing well, or your mom's not doing, and they're like, please update us, and closer to the time, let us know. How does anybody know what is closer to the time? And basically, they are buried while they're alive.
Where's the empathy? Where's any sense of gratitude for what it is that you benefited from the person who is now too much of a burden, too much of an inconvenience for you to spend time with? And there's one thing, and I've over the last while, since I've started doing this full time, since 2018 or so, right? I've encountered many, many family related kind of issues that I've been called in to assist with. And I can tell you there's one thing that's consistently true with every single time a family member had someone who was experiencing Alzheimer's or dementia, is that person had been reduced to just being a figurehead in the family. Alzheimer's and dementia, prove me wrong, is a result of social neglect. It's because the people around them have reduced them to being nothing more than a token role in the family. They have no meaningful role to play, no meaningful impact, no influence, no seniority, nothing.
Yeah.
They're just there, and you must respect them, and you must watch how you speak to them, but that's it. Beyond that, no, it's our life. We make our decisions.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can tell you with absolute certainty is that every time I encountered a family where there was healthy relationships between the elders, the parents, and the children, that's where you had the most amazing characters coming out.
Yeah.
the most functional, the most grounded, the most self-assured, the most competent ones come out from those kinds of environments where they have access to that 3 generations of generational wisdom and emotional availability. The ones where they want to live this insular life where, no, it's my life, my turn. I've done my bit and it's my turn to have fun and enjoy my life now. Those are the ones that have the most problems, especially family-related issues, where there's disconnects, there's tension, there's just an unhealthy vibe where each one is struggling in their own way about how it is that they feel about their significance and all of that. That comes from the absence of healthy relationships between the 3 generations.
Wow. Please WhatsApp us 077 280 4792. Give us your thoughts as we head into an ad break. We'll be back with Code Sage. More after this. You're listening to East Wave FM. It is the chat network. We've got Code Said here every Wednesday between 9 and 10. So Code Said, today's topic is very compelling, I must say. And I don't think it is often discussed. It's the role of elders. Where are the elders? But sometimes, right, elders can choose to not be a part of their lives. You were saying something now about what they value more than being a part of the family unit.
Yes. There's an increasing number of elders who believe that they've done their tour of duty, so now it's time for them to relax and take it easy, and they must have their own time. And, retirement, this, retirement home, retirement village, estate life, and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And before people come at me, I'm not saying whether you're right or wrong in that. My question is simply this. If that is what you believe is valuable at that stage of your life, what is your concern about the well-being and the cohesiveness and the health of your family unit?
Why wouldn't that be an issue of concern for someone?
I think it's because we've got this ridiculous kind of trend in our community where people see their role as a parent or whatever as being duty. Not commitment, not passion, not conviction, not something that they believe is their legacy that they want to leave or the impact they want to have. They see it as duty. I've done my duty, now leave me alone. And that's why you have so many elderly people these days who don't have patience for children. Because they've done their duty and children must know how to behave, and that's all that matters. Having a meaningful connection, I think it's sad to say that there's a lot of people who grow old without ever having had meaningful human connections. They were only defined by the roles that they played and the duty that they performed and what they could expect from others.
How do we remedy this? What do you think? Oh, firstly, what do you think is happening right now? How's it going to affect us in the future?
I think it's already affecting us. I think it's already affecting us when we look at the plague that we have of substance abuse and escapist behavior in our community. When we look at the disconnect between parents and children, where we look at the outsourcing of parenting to schools and madrasas and other vernacular schools and social media. And I say the outsourcing of it because if your child gets too much or they demand too much of your attention, then you give them a distraction. And they grow to believe that their distraction is actually their right.
Yeah.
Because, I did my homework, I behaved well, I did my chores, so now I deserve privilege.
Yeah.
There's no meaningful engagement. There's no meaningful sharing of life experiences. And the closest they get to that is family holidays once or twice a year.
Yeah. And then too, the technological distractions go with.
Yes.
So we all together, but we all apart in the same place.
It's something that's really sad that I hear often is that when families go on holiday, children experience a side of their parents that they don't experience at home.
Yeah.
Why? Listen to the parents and to the elders. Why is it that you are capable of being a different person when you're out of the house and on holiday than what you are in the home day-to-day life? Which is going to leave more impact? Which is teaching the next generation what life is supposed to be about, what's important, what we should prioritize. And this absence of elders and the elders that abdicate accountability, that deliberately avoid taking accountability for their contribution to the state in which they find their families. That is one of the biggest problems we've got.
Yeah. And as the level of awareness starts to grow in children, the role modeling, they don't do what you say, they do what they see you doing.
Yes. And look at how that's affecting us as a community. right, at a broader level, where are the elders leading us? Are they leading us?
How are they leading us?
Or are they only visible when there's something contentious that is going to earn social credits? Because these days we've got reactive leadership, we don't have proactive leadership, we don't have visionary leadership. We've got people who react to crises and then they become heroes because of how they dealt with the crisis.
Yeah. So the prevention is better than cure, but
We forgot that one. I think
yeah.
that was taken out of the textbooks.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing because we have talks by our various religious leaders and they will talk on crucial social issues. My question is, where are the preventative measures? Where's the alternative?
I want to say something that's going to be extremely unpopular. Why is it that our leaders are always talking about stuff and not actually living it? Why is it that when we talk about these things, we can't look to a leader to say, yes, embodiment of what they're talking about?
Yeah. And that's the thing is that I would like to see the very same leaders sending their children to the very same schools that they lead, to the very same, like the Minister of Education. Their kids need to be in the public schools that they govern.
Yeah.
The Minister of Health should be using our same clinic, standing in the queues. His family should be using that.
Yes.
They should be attending the same institutions that they govern. They should be making use of their services.
And by the same token, the elders and the ones who are supporting and funding and being donors for these charitable institutions of old age homes and orphanages and all of that, they should be actively involved with their children in the running of those places.
Yeah.
You see, because it brings me back to a point that I mentioned on the break as well, which is that these days, the one thing that pacifies our conscience more than anything else is an EFT.
Yeah.
We made that payment, so now we feel good.
I've helped the world. I've made the world a better place.
Yes. Look, I'm supporting this cause and I'm supporting that cause. How are you supporting it? Oh, I have a standing debit order. I make a contribution whenever I can. And it's like, it's a lot of money for me, but I don't mind doing it because it's an important cause.
And you can't call that active citizenry.
No, it isn't.
You can't call that active citizenry. If you look at the activists, we don't even have to look far. The late Ahmed Kathrada, the late President Nelson Mandela, the activism age, the generation, it was active.
Exactly.
It was present.
There's a reason they call it activism. You have to be actively involved. You can't just be an armchair critic with an EFT.
But what they say is, do your part. Like and share this post.
Yes, and that's where the credibility is lost, right? Because now people think that the more likes and shares that I get, the more credible I am.
That's
right?
active. I'm being active.
Yeah,
I liked
of
and
course.
I shared
Right.
to all 22 of my followers.
Simple point. Look at Palestine. The most activism ever that we've seen in social media, and yet it's made absolutely no difference on the ground.
Absolutely.
And before people tell me, no, it's made a big difference because look at all of the donations in charitable organizations that are there and the aid and everything else, we're solving the wrong problem. Again, reactive leadership. We react to a crisis, we're not willing to do what's needed to prevent a crisis.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what's needed to prevent a crisis is usually unpopular. But we are so full of wanting popularity these days that even leadership is attained through populism, not credibility. And that's where the elders have failed us.
Oof. When you talk about credibility, that is something that I think people are short on. Really short on.
They don't even grasp what credibility should look like. They think that just by tenure, by how long they've been in that role, or by the age that they have, that automatically they must be treated as if they're credible. Again, it comes back to what I said in the beginning about you have a right to an informed opinion, not just any opinion.
Yeah. And when you talk about that, I think of a particular group where people flock to. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
God.
And the Mashura happens there.
Yes.
In the comment section.
And we outsource our life's problems to Joe Public.
Yes.
And Joe Public is going to give us such fantastic advice because they know the ins and outs of our life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you what problem you're trying to solve. You're trying to solve a problem of being validated and affirmed about how difficult your life is, rather than trying to truly understand what is it that you need to solve so that you're not a contributing factor to the very problem you're complaining about.
Absolutely. And, when we talk about the elders being present, I think there are a good number of them who saying, I choose peace. I choose peace. At my age, I don't want to deal with anybody's drama right now. I just want to be at peace.
Yes. And let's see how much peace we've got now.
Mm-hmm.
You got lots of peace around you. If you can be at peace while your family is experiencing absolute mayhem, dysfunction, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you. Because that tells you everything about what is your investment in contributing towards the harmony of that family.
And we've also got elders right now who are refusing to age, by the way.
Yes.
There's a good number of, I'm not taking a dig at females, but yay, that anti-aging movement, where it's like, I just
where it
want to be
prevents
the
you from
fool.
having an expression in your face other than the one you painted on in the morning.
Yes, exactly. It's unheard of. You even look at the celebrities now who are sort of, set in stone, if I
Yes.
can use that, because you're thinking, what's wrong with aging? What is wrong with aging? What's wrong with the wrinkles? What's wrong with with the actual, because inside your body, you will never be able to reverse aging.
Yeah.
It's natural.
What actually reverses aging inside your body?
Mm-hmm.
Activity.
Yeah.
Purposeful, meaningful activity. Something you believe has value.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're so focused on your aesthetic, on how well you're aging and how gracefully you look when you're
Yeah.
aging,
Yeah.
you're not interested in yourself. You're interested in what people think of you.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very good way to grow old and bitter while on the outside you have a smile plastered on your face that everyone can see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've lost the essence of what a healthy, wholesome, grounded life looks like.
Yeah.
It's romantic notions in distorted movies that we see these days.
Mm-hmm.
The elders have failed us. And those of us that are now entering the space where we are the elders, no one told us we were going to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But just because no one told us doesn't mean that we get to abdicate accountability because no one told us.
Very true.
So we're the elders now. What are we doing about it?
Did this happen when we weren't looking?
It always does, right? It always does. If
Yeah.
you've got a generation or two that is younger than you, that is in proximity to you, that are around you, you're an elder.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what impact that role has. Understand what impact your presence and how you're showing up. Understand what impact that has.
Yeah.
How many times don't we go through life and we say, it was this one uncle or this one aunt that,
Yeah.
that was so inspirational because I always wanted to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
Not like my parents, like that aunt and that uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an aunt or an uncle, don't assume that you don't have any impact on the broader family dynamic.
Of course. It's so, I'm just thinking now, somebody asked me the other day, she says, no, you are the older cousin. So, you, and I'm like, when did that happen? You gonna trust me? We're like,
No, don't trust me.
I didn't
if
know.
only you know me the way I know
Yeah.
myself.
I'll be looking for the older people still.
Exactly, right?
I'm still looking for the elder people,
And where do we find them when we look for them?
we can't. I don't know where to start looking. I don't know. And that's just the thing. Most people in our generation, the 80s born, who witnessed the 90s and witnessed the 2000s and are now sitting, and it's just like, whoa, this whole revolution that happened, unfolded, is not so revolutionary.
Yeah.
We had times when, before any religious function, Ramadan, Eid, Diwali, whatever, the older women would be getting together and they would be preparing savories, for example. In the neighborhood, in one street, they would all get together, bring all of their samosa fillings and whatever the case is. And those were the times that you learned the most.
Yes.
You acquired your life skills from there. You knew, and they would say to you, this is not a space for young people. You don't sit here when big people are talking, Try telling that to a youngster today. Don't sit here while big people are talking. They're like,
No, but my voice is important. Oh, seriously?
we up against social media raising children more than any other generation or any grandmother. Or, in fact, I see grandparents like, come look at this video with me. Instead of talking, it's like,
Yes.
I want to show you this video,
Yeah.
know? It's cute to know your grandmother's on Instagram. It's cute. You
Yes,
just
no
amuse,
problem. Where's the
you know?
balance?
But
Where's the balance?
when we're in front of each other, then we don't know each other. I don't know what she likes. I don't what eating time. Also, the phone's on the table, and they're like, no, no, the phone keeps the child quiet. And that's a pet peeve of mine. I cannot stand it. I feel that you are depriving us and this child of connection. I don't care how anyone else puts it. I feel that the value system is all defunct because why? You don't want to deal with the inconvenience of a jumpy toddler or whatever the case is. But how will this toddler learn? You thinking every time to pacify, give them the phone.
Yes.
Every time to discipline, give them the phone or take the phone away. You saying that the phone is the carrot on the stick, basically.
Not just that, you're teaching them that if they have a gripe about something, they deserve to be pacified.
Yeah.
And then when they need to be pacified, every time they have a gripe about something, oh no, ADHD.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We've lost the plot in such a bad way. It's actually shameful,
Yeah.
not just sad.
Absolutely. And you can see the difference in parenting. The parks are empty. The parks aren't that full. However, the cell phone shop and the data that's being bought per hour shows us where kids are gathering now.
Cell phone shops have replaced the corner cafes,
Yeah, true.
the fruit and veg shops.
Yeah.
We've got more cell phone shops these days than we've got those corner cafes. It's sad. We, sitting next to each other and completely disconnected.
Yeah. And you can see the difference between, like the way that kids are raised. You see it when they're together because the one would be glued to the screen. And I said this before. If you go to a wedding now, the walls are lined with little children sitting with cell phones so they don't trouble their parents. And the others who are playing outside are those that wow,
That's the exception these days.
Yes. It's like, why does he want to play outside? That's the question, the abnormal question. Why does he want to play outside? Give him your phone and let him sit here where you can see him.
And you've got the 10s and 12-year-olds who are worried about how they look and what trend are they good at and how it is that they can claim their space in their social circle because of that.
Yeah, get likes.
And they develop a sense of pride and a sense of confidence about the fact that they are that good in that until that doesn't matter anymore and they don't want to see what happens.
And how does Nani and Nana talk about that?
Nani and Nana needs to step up. Nani and Nana are the reasons why it is that families either dissolve into something that is dysfunctional or has cohesion because they continue to play an active role beyond just duty. So this mentality of I don't want to become mortage, I don't want to become a burden to my children, get over yourself. And yeah, I might not be as elderly as I should be to be able to say this to the elders, but seriously, the elders who are failing us, you need to step up. The elders who are absent in leadership roles, you need to step up. The elders who are only reactive when they want to be heard, but they don't want to be actively involved when things need to be done. You need to step up.
Absolutely.
Why is it that we've got such reactive leadership? Look at our community. Majority of the leadership in our community is reactive.
Yeah.
They're there when there's a drama to want to have a voice about, but they're not there for the rest of the time. That's selective. And selective leadership is opportunism. It's not leadership.
I think this has been an absolutely amazing topic. I think that our listeners are appreciative. Good morning, Divina. Good morning, Party. Thank you so much for listening. I think that there's a few comments. Mo saying, I agree with this wholeheartedly. Thank you for putting light on a very crucial topic. And then we've got, who is this? Anonymous, saying that the plight of the elderly needs to be covered as well. We are now rendered invisible by cell phones.
Yes, I agree that is very true in a lot of cases. But I'm very much an advocate for encouraging accountability. What was your contribution towards making that okay? Right? And I'm not dismissing the seriousness and the gravity of how sad it is that our elders are neglected in this way. But we need to also look at the elders and see, what did you do that gave your children reason to believe that this was acceptable behavior, that this was a value that they should live by?
Yeah.
And when you want to not be a burden to them, that's exactly what you do. You teach them that you're a burden. So when it's their turn, it's their turn. They don't have to worry about the burdens of life. Because everything is about self-gratification. Everything is about selfish objectives and selfish goals and selfish needs.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification, yeah. Long-term pain.
Yeah, yeah. Coach Zaid, today's topic has been absolutely amazing. Jazakallah khair. What is your final message to our listeners on this topic? Where are the elders?
I think people who are listening to this, you need to realize that in some way or another, you're already an elder. And when I say an elder, I mean there's someone looking up to you as a role model. There's someone looking up to you as a beacon by which to make decisions in their own lives. And if you don't realize what impact you're having, you're potentially going to have a negative, a detrimental impact on people, and you're going to say it wasn't your fault and you didn't mean it. And that's what starts the slide into oblivion, where we just don't take accountability for the impact we have on others, and we're only focused on what impact others are having on us. So as elders, the ones that are now entering that role as an elder, stop and take stock. You need to understand that the impact you have is going to last for generations to come. I often marvel at the fact that, like, when at a family gathering about a year ago or so, I remember us taking out a passport copy of my great-grandfather. And he passed away young. He was in his 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Right? And the one thought that always occurred to me, and I keep mentioning it, is that at the time that he was establishing his family as a migrant worker here in South Africa and all of that, he didn't realize he was setting up a legacy. And that's what we don't realize. What we're doing now, we might not intend it as a legacy, but it is. So you need to take stock of what is the legacy you're leaving behind, and whether that is what it is you want to be remembered for. You want to be remembered for how cool you were, how your aesthetic was always on point, how it is that you didn't show your age the way other people around you show their age, and you weren't stiff like the other old people. Is that your legacy? Or is your legacy going to be that you left lives richer and more informed with generational wisdom that will actually hold them in good stead?
Those are real words of wisdom, and I know that they are taken with a lot of respect, and we have given people so much to think about today. Coach say till next week between 9 and 10 on Wednesday, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.